Yep.
Yup.
Mm-hmm. Dad. Dangle, welcome to Dangle's Sunset Seeing Dangle podcast for the modern class age. I tell you what, with me today is Nick
Yup.
and Serious.
Damn it, Pup, this isn't your podcast.
And on the end there we have Wayne Hauer.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Wait, Wayne Hauer? Or are you just gonna inscribe that on my tombstone next time?
Dangle, rest in peace.
But dad.
But bad.
But dad.
That's my purse.
Don't know you.
Guys, welcome to the show. I see we already have people in the chat. Certified's already complaining about comics. Welcome, buddy. Boys, it's been a year.
What?
It has been quite the
Yeah.
year.
Hey, honestly, I kind of forgot how much of this stuff actually was within the past year.
Yeah, man. I really wish I'd taken a break from Twitter last year. I was really thankful that I was able to communicate with a lot more folks, and I was really welcome to the Sonic community, blah, blah, blah. But good God, I grew so tired of hearing about Sonic drought, this and that and the other, and I think it was kind of worth the wait. They went kind of hard.
We ate.
With
We ate.
Oh, yeah,
this
year we ate good. We ate real good.
But I'm gonna be honest. There was this one comment on, I forgot what video I did, and it kind of resonated with me fairly hard, which was just like, yes, the year of 7 out of 10s. And I was like, yeah, I feel that. I kind of feel that. Which is like good, right?
7 out of 10 is good. Good is still good. The year of good. I'll take it.
It was good.
The year of good. The year of good, not great, and hopefully the beginning of something better.
I feel like it's going to get better. I really do. But there were a couple projects this year specifically that made me a little concerned. But gotta say, man, they really kind of pulled it around here.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, especially with like you mentioned being on Sonic Twitter.
In the Puss in Boots community, I know it's been wild, absolutely crazy.
It's been interesting, some of the takes.
I heard that movie was actually really good. I really want to watch it soon.
Yeah, I heard it was fantastic. I think it has a higher Rotten Tomato score than Avatar.
I mean, I was there was there was a Rotten Tomato score I saw yesterday for Road to El Dorado, and it's very middling still, and I think that's offensive. Grosses me
Just
out.
a little bit.
That movie's so fucking good.
That was one of those movies that it had the issue of a lot of DreamWorks movies at the times of they always got compared directly to Disney, and they were like, it's not as good as Disney. And then, when you actually sit down and watch them, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I fucking like this.
Yeah.
What?
I think the audio
This doesn't
levels,
have to be Disney.
I turned down the audio a little bit, guys. Just let me know, because as Wayne pointed out to me before we started the show, our audio levels were super off, and I did notice that too. I was really quiet compared to you guys. So let me know how it sounds. I'm tweaking things around here.
Truth be told, I've never seen Road to El Dorado.
It's pretty fun, man. You should check it out. It's a good time.
It's a very fun romp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a masterpiece or anything, but it is good.
Fucking beautiful. I love it. Yeah, so guys, as per usual, thank you so much for the super chats. We will be reading them at the end of the show. But before all of that, we are going to spend today talking about everything that was Sonic the Hedgehog in 2022, because we had a pretty stinking big year. And I think the first thing that really kind of kicked things off was the movie. Right?
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So it's been
I think that
it's been almost a year since that came out. I mean, we're a couple months apart from that. How you guys feeling about it nowadays?
I still
Sorry.
Sorry, do you want to go first, Cyrus?
You can go first. You're fine.
Okay, I still really like it. I mean, dare say, I love it. My issues with it are still the same. The things I love about it are still the same. Like, my opinion of the movie hasn't really changed. And when I watch it today, which I still sometimes do, I think I've seen the movie about 4 times now. Yeah, I feel the exact same as I did before. The 6 minutes in the middle of the wedding stuff is the longest 6 minutes of my entire life, but the rest of the film is pretty golden.
Fair enough. All right, sir.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as Pup, where like I enjoyed the movie a lot in theaters. I don't enjoy it as much now as when I watched it, but at the same time, my theater experience was going to the early showing, being in a group of a ton of Sonic fans, and literally like when the end credit song came on, just hearing everybody sing along to the Stars in the Sky in the theater. That's
Which
not
means you must have heard like an auditorium of like 200 people singing Cum Zone.
Damn it. But like it's that's an experience I'm not going to be able to replicate, and that was a part of watching that movie to me, was that experience on top of watching the movie itself. But I do still enjoy the movie as it is. Um pretty much the same opinion with the wedding scene. It's completely unnecessary in that movie, doesn't need to be there. But in terms of what we actually got with the movie, I am super thrilled that we actually have a really good rewatchable video game movie, because we've never gotten that many of those. I know we're not quite in the same world of like the Uwe Boll movies where everything is just garbage and it's garbage for tax reasons. But I'd say it still holds up. It's still really fun, and I'm glad we got a pretty damn faithful video game adaptation, especially in a franchise that has had so many issues with people interpreting it over the years.
I picked up an ugly Sonic toy from a thrift store just the other day, and I have it sitting by my desk just as a reminder of what could have been and how lucky we are to have the movie we do have. Wayne, what you were gonna say your thoughts on it though? What are you thinking about it, bud?
Oh, I'm still waiting for my my roommates to actually sit down and watch it with me.
You've not
Wow.
You've not seen it?
I've seen it twice.
He's
I,
seen
I went
it,
to,
you know, that's a joke.
no, I went to the theater twice. It's been sitting on the living room like table. Like I got that steel book with like the Genesis replica box art, and we were supposed to watch it a while ago. We watched Chainsaw Man every week. Still haven't watched Sonic. Fuck is up, guys.
You just want to touch some boobs, that's all.
I'll give my wife some credit. She did attempt to watch movie 1 and movie 2 with me for a little while before she just was, nah, dude, I'm good. I'm fucking good. Yeah, I mean, my overall thoughts haven't changed either. I mean, I still thought it was a really fun time. It's not a movie I could really rewatch a great deal. It does still just feel like this is for kids, and I'm not a kid kind of a thing. Not to downplay, children's media on any level. I mean, for fuck's sake, look at my job. But there is still a little bit too much Alvin and the Chipmunks in there for me to really kind of feel like, oh man, I really need to watch it. It's one of those movies like I would watch scenes out of it if I'm in the mood, as opposed to watching the whole thing front to back. But I still enjoy it overall. I still think it's a great time. Still excited for movie 3. Still love Ben Schwartz and the designs, and I want to see more of Knuckles' story. Still hate the wedding scene. I dearly despise the wedding scene with all of my heart. But otherwise, yeah.
I'm not sure what they were thinking with all that.
I know exactly what they were thinking, and it worked too. They were just trying to get everybody else who isn't there for Sonic something else. And I mean, I just saw on Twitter all over the place afterwards, like, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought that scene was great. Like, for a second there, I thought it wasn't a Sonic movie, which is the exact problem. You idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here for a Sonic movie. We want to watch a Sonic movie. If you want to make a Sonic movie for fans of things that aren't Sonic, then here's what you do. You make a good movie that just happens to be a Sonic movie. That's the actual trick. That's the actual strategy.
I mean, this movie still feels like it's kind of caught in the Paul Feig Ghostbusters era of emulating Marvel's formula of being a little bit too jokey for its own good.
Really on the nose.
Yeah, I still think it's a better mix than a lot of those projects. Like, I still think the humor lands for the most part, but every now and then, yeah, like the Russian dance scene and the wedding scene.
I still don't like the Russian dancing.
Oh, I fucking despise it. But it's the wedding scene.
First of all, I hate that song. And it's fucking annoying, and so, like, you know, having to sit through, like, man, nah.
I still didn't hate that scene that much. Like, I guess maybe I would hate that scene if we didn't have the wedding scene, right? Like, by comparison, it is the inoffensive one of the two to me. But I guess if we didn't have the wedding scene, I might feel a little bit differently. It's kind of like if you've ever seen like the production behind The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock. He would put all kinds of like terrible scenes in the movie just so that the censors would hit them and not the actual gory scenes he wanted. I kind of feel that way with the Russian dance scene. Like, if it wasn't there, maybe I would be, if the wedding scene wasn't there, maybe I'd clue into it a little more. But I just don't.
Yeah. And just to give you guys a heads up here, Pup's been dealing with some really spotty internet, as you might be aware of, for all of December. He just had to dip out again because it's been really, really bad, especially today. So he might not be back in for the rest of the episode. Hopefully we can get him in at least to, greet us all to a happy 2023. We'll see. But if you're wondering why the puppy man has gone completely quiet, that's why.
That's a very good backstory for the neutering he's having right now.
How many neuterings has he had so far in the canon of Sunset City?
He's got a lot of balls.
He
think at least 12. He just keeps growing them back like Gohan with a tail.
We got a gumball machine with this shit.
Would you like some pup testicles?
That reminds me, sirs, did you see that fusion for Dragon? I forgot the mobile game. I haven't actually played it, but like I still see the art for it every now and then. But like there's a fusion. I don't know if it's Goku and his dad or not, but whatever the case is, they did like, the red Super Saiyan God hair on a Gogeta styled fusion. So it just looks like Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan God. And it's just, it's perfection. It's perfection. It's so good.
Look, for as garbage as GT is, Super Saiyan 4 is a banging design.
I'll be real, dude. I kind of feel like everything outside of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is kind of garbage, and I'm still enjoying it. I still think Super and GT are super fun.
I'm GT has its moments. The thing for me is Super has its moments where I hate it, and then most of it I enjoy. And then GT has its moments where I like it, and most of it that I hate.
That's valid. I've enjoyed Super just because it felt like Goku and Vegeta are just retired old men. So they're just dicking around on vacation. That's what the entire show feels like to me.
It's like, what are we doing here? Why are we still fighting?
It's just because it's what I want to do. It's just a pastime for them at that point. But yeah, I'm just testing the waters, seeing if I can get away with talking about Dragon Ball at all for Sonic fans.
These are Sonic fans. They already have Dragon Ball at home.
Yeah.
You want us to talk about a good shonen series? We can do that.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Damn, sirs. I mean, but while we're on the subject here, just because we've got a lot of Sonic to talk about today. Pup did put in here, and I thought this was a cool idea in terms of our schedule, like talking about things in the future. What do you guys feel, now that we have some time to reflect on it, how do we feel about the next movie going forward? Do we have any predictions or excitement? Do you think the Mario movie is going to affect things at all?
I want to hear Wayne first.
I still think, like, we need to see more of it and, like, what they're actually planning on doing, because I think it can kind of go either way, and a lot of it depends on how they handle Shadow. I'm excited, but yeah, it's going to be a long wait.
Boys, my sister and her partner Coco are officially the heroes of this episode. I came in and I just said, like, I'm gonna dip out a bit just because the you know the
Yeah, I
internet
explained.
not really workable in there. Yeah, well, I explained to them too, and they were just like, "Well, we'll go in the bedroom. You take the living room." It's like I can't just pack you guys off in your bedroom, but it's like no, they're off. So like, yeah, I should have better connection now.
Well, it's awesome,
Sweet.
man. Good to have you back, but it feel weird ending the year without you here.
Yeah, it would feel weird ending the year without me here, wouldn't it?
It would
Yeah.
it feel weird just announcing you as our new member of the show, and then you
Only
being
for me to
unable-
not be in the next episode, right? Wouldn't that be? Wouldn't that be weird, Gilly? Wouldn't that be
It'd be-
weird, Gilly? Yeah,
It'd
that'd
be
be weird.
very strange to be a new member on a show and just not
Because
show up.
the thing that sucked was I was making my usual wickedly funny witticisms, and I didn't know if anyone heard them. So it's like, now I know. Now I have my little confidence, my little safety net. So, not that they're listening, because I don't want them to listen to it, but huge thank you to my sister and her girlfriend.
Yeah, for real.
Same.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
But don't listen to this. Do not.
Well, we
yeah.
were talking about the future of the Sonic movies, Pup, if you want to weigh in on that a little bit.
Sure, yeah. No, so I think the future is looking very bright in that I think we're going to get to see a child get murdered on the big screen again.
Hell yeah, baby.
Wait,
I'm really looking forward to that. But like, yeah, no, obviously not much is really known about how they're going to portray things. Like, have you seen the recent interview with the writers?
I think so, but refresh my memory.
They've basically said that they want to commit to taking Shadow seriously, making him a very serious character, but they don't want him to be serious to the point that it becomes comedic just how deadpan he is. So they're not going to go down like the Drax route or anything like that. They are committed to him being a very true to himself version of the character. And there's also been a lot of talk about how they wanted to have like a Big the Cat cameo in each movie, but they always end up getting scrapped. I'm hoping they'll get the chance to do it with movie 3. That would be really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, the Adventure 2 adaptation would be the time to do the Big the Cat cameos. That's when
Exactly.
that's when that began.
I think the thing I'm hoping for the space colony arc in some regard. Like, because we haven't seen Sonic and his friends go to space yet. And I want to see that because space, to me, is like a staple of Sonic. Like, you know, you always have the big space finale, in a way. And okay, that's not every game, but like, even then, you can't beat a space finale when it comes to Sonic games. The best finales are always in space.
I do want to hear Colleen literally say the first Bernoulli spherical space colony. Just specifically that line.
I can't wait for her to say during the credits, and we all did it together.
Did it together.
One more thing though, and this definitely concerns you, game apologist. I don't know why I called you that. They talked about the rights to the characters, who they can and can't use in the movies, and they've said that when it comes to the games, they've basically got this toy box of characters they can use, but Archie characters are off limits. And okay, that was kind of expected and stuff, but like, yeah, like.
So again,
You
I'm
know.
going to remind even hosts of a Sonic show that the Freedom Fighters are not Archie characters.
I get it, but like, do you think they know that? Do you think they really care? You know, like.
I feel like when they say Archie characters, they're saying it as a shorthand for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't get me wrong. Just again, like I have to reiterate to everybody on the fucking planet, the Freedom Fighters are not Archie.
Right, but the
licensed
thing is,
characters.
when people ask them, can we expect to see characters from Archie? No one's asking about Jeffrey St. John's. You know.
No, and I wanted to reiterate that point too. Is like let's be clear. I do not and will not ever expect the Freedom Fighters to show up in the movies. That said, though, looking back at movie 2, like they dance with the devil in the origin story of the Chaos Emeralds and everything there.
With not Interjack?
With not
Hey, guys,
Jack and not Locke, yeah.
Hey guys, guess who this is? Actually, the Freedom Fighters aren't Archie characters. They are their own thing. They come from the Dick universe.
Sally does.
That's you. That's your next video. Your next video needs to be called "Actually, the Freedom Fighters aren't Archie characters."
I mean, that was a good chunk of that in my Sally video. I'm good on that front. I'll have to do it again during Archie speedreading. Yeah, you have to actually when people are idiots about the rights about these characters. Like it's not that hard.
I'm an idiot now, am I, Nick? I'm an idiot now.
Yes.
I mean, not now.
I want to
More
go
like
shopping.
an ever constant state.
I want to go Target with you again, man.
I miss you, buddy. Yeah, that was always a good time. I've not been to Target in a while, and I feel empty.
You need to get filled up with pup.
Yeah, stop it. Why do you have to go there, man?
He started it.
Gotta get filled, pup.
Guess we're heading back to the Dick universe.
Everybody
Anyway.
stop it. We're trying to run a more organized show now. Where are we at? We still talking about wait, you buttholes, okay? Alright, I'm going back to the piss, and I'm seeing that discussion for a Sonic movie 3 is actually not on here. Never mind then. Alright, my bad. I thought it would be in like
No,
I thought it would be in the part 2. Never mind.
it's okay to be wrong.
Okay, yeah, it is okay. I'm wrong. And that's okay.
It's okay.
All right, well, yeah, I'm looking forward to Sonic 3. I'm looking forward to Shadow. I think making him a very properly serious character is what's going to be needed to juxtapose him from the more Draxian take on Knuckles, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Going forward from there, how many of you boys actually read through IDW this year?
Oh, I definitely didn't read IDW issue 50. No, when I edited your video, I didn't even read it.
Oh my god.
I got caught up on the main story and Scrapnik.
Yeah.
I'm about an issue behind on both right now because of certain recent events, but I'm going to be caught up more soon. But I have obviously read issue 50.
Well, I mean, just overall, like, how do we feel about the storytelling and just everything they did this year specifically? Because I feel like they spent a lot more time. I think Evan got a lot more time this year. I know she probably started last year in terms of like properly taking over, but or maybe it was this last year. I don't know. It's been a
So
long
what is
year.
like the dead mark for when Evan Stanley took over from Ian Flynn?
It was immediately after the Metal Virus saga, but they have swap turns in terms of stories on occasion.
And who did issue 50?
So that was Ian.
Right.
She did all the lead up to issue 50, while Ian did the side story stuff with Kit and Surge showing up. Then he did a couple not episodes. He did a couple issues. Then she took back over and has been running the show ever since. But
So the truth be told, I haven't read Imposter Syndrome, but I did read issue 50 because obviously I needed to for the sake of editing the video. But like I fully understood everything that was going on in issue 50. It does a pretty good job at kind of feeling like a continuation of something else, but reintroducing you to everything that's there. I think that's a real talent on display. But I thought, like, I was reading it, I was like, man, this is compelling. And I told my buddy about it and stuff while I was editing. I was like, dude, this is what happens in issue 50. This is really cool. So yeah, I really liked it. And of course, I read the Tales anniversary comic as well. That about brings me up to speed on like the current IDW stuff. But I've really just been playing catch up. I'm up to Metal Virus right now in my encyclopedia stuff. So encyclopedia, yeah, you know, the volume books. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to IDW. I really like it. It's a really enjoyable comic. I think it definitely hits its strides once you get past the initial few issues. Once you get to like the Neo Metal Sonic stuff, I think it really hits its stride.
Those establishing issues are a little bit rough to go back to after the Battle for Angel Island and Metal Virus have already kicked off for you.
Yeah.
I think those are just a little bit more tiresome for folks that know these characters back to front. As far as establishing issues for what they're set to do, I think they're perfectly fine. But I completely agree. Yet,
I think Sonic's Gary Stewisms are at the absolute forefront in the earlier issues. Like in the later ones, it kind of becomes like, oh, he's actually kind of stubborn, and that's kind of an issue. But in the early ones, it's just like this man can do no wrong.
There's a lot more in Battle for Angel Island. There's a lot of like Sonic correcting other characters' mistakes,
right? Yeah.
Like, and that's especially in like the battle with Neo Metal. I don't like that the battle with Neo Metal and Metal Virus both have a moment that is beat for beat just Shadow not listening, Shadow getting himself fucked up, and Sonic having to scold him. Like both sagas have that exact moment, and I just
well, I mean,
feels weird.
I finally kind of realized, like, especially after watching Prime, like I finally realized why Shadow is the way he is because if Sega is going to be going forward with this Sonic who's in charge of everything, who's the most reasonable guy in the room, like you can't have a Shadow that is going to be a proper rival who is more like the one you guys all want, which is, the cunning, the thoroughly, intelligent boy that, we expect him to be. Because they would get along just fine. I don't want that. I like Sonic when he's just a little bit of
You want the
a troll.
friction.
I want
That's
a little
another
bit of
thing I
friction.
guess I would say is I would rather Sonic go back to being a bit of a troll and Shadow revert
Yeah.
than because otherwise
Yeah.
I think the correct way of handling Shadow now would be if you're maturing Sonic, mature Shadow and mature their relationship. I've always said I think they should be more open to expressing respect for one another in spite of doing things differently, in spite of having quite different mentalities towards how they handle the evil in the world that they fight against. And I think, turning Shadow into a blockhead opposite a Sonic is kind of trying to force out that rivalry. I would rather they mature the rivalry than force it out, Like,
yeah, I get you.
But at the same time, I think there is a balance to be found between the very mature prep school teen Sonic and the little, the little shit stirrer that we know and love. Like, I something I noticed, especially when playing Frontiers, is Sonic says the word insight way too much these days. Like, he's like, oh, that's so insightful and stuff. It's like, yeah, he's kind of written to be like a preppy college student in a way these days. So I kind of think there is a balance to be found,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the characterizations fine enough, but it could be better. I agree. And I did give Certified some garbage early on, but I do agree in terms of like how
We all give Certified garbage, man. He deserves it. But go on, continue.
But yeah, Evan, it felt like her arcs felt a little more fillery compared to what Ian was allowed to do in terms of taking the story and elevating, what's happening between all the characters. I kind of feel like after issue 50, now that she's finally allowed to do a lot of the heavier action with Sonic involved, which is something she hasn't surprisingly done a whole lot in terms of IDW, it feels like she's finally allowed to kind of go as nuts with these characters, because like the more recent issues have just been Surge versus everybody, and they've been a lot of fun. So I'm glad to see that they're finally letting her kind of cut loose a little bit more than just having Ian run the show completely, because I think they're both excellent writers, and I think they've done a great job being like just synergizing between them. It doesn't feel like a jarring shift between one or the other a whole lot.
So I originally, so like we had the moment where the fight with Surge kind of died off in the comics, where Kit was taken in by Tails and Kit was gaslit by Sonic on accident. Like there was that whole moment where things slowed down, and then Surge started becoming a problem for everybody again, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're just not done with this fight. I don't know how I feel about this. And then I realized that's literally what happened with Scourge in Archie. Scourge did not just fight Sonic to a standstill and then it was done. He literally just like hopped from city to city, fucking things up for everyone.
Yeah, this one's got a lot more
this
dimension.
makes more sense.
She has a lot more dimension than Scourge ever did, though, which I really appreciate. Like, first she was just very yelly, but like Ian did a great job fleshing her out through imposter syndrome, and I think Evan's done a great job making her feel like a whole, lack of a better term, human being.
Yeah.
Tenric.
I mean, yeah, but she's like, I don't know, she's far more intimidating now. Like she's shown her worth against a lot of big proper characters without feeling like a fan fiction character. Like there is still a bit of a balance there. She does have an extra boost helping her out, and she doesn't feel like she can completely overpower everyone all around her. You can still see her struggle a bit. I've been really, really liking where they're taking the character, and I'm excited to see more of them.
I also throw some love out there for Dr. Starline as well.
Yeah, what a way to wrap up his story.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I know we're gonna get him back eventually, but for the send off that he's had so far, I was pleased with it. If there was anybody to send him off, it was Eggman.
I think they did a good job wrapping up his story. I really don't want to see him again unless they have a really good reason for it, and even then, it better not be for a long ass time. Like give us a chance to miss him, because Sonic has a really hard time doing that with their characters.
I mean, we only got Mr. Tinker for like what, a year's worth of issues,
I was talking about Shadow
and then
and Sage.
I mean,
Spoilers.
yeah, yeah. Shadow.
When?
Well, how long did we actually wait for Shadow?
I mean, he died one game, showed up in the very next game. It was just between games, and that's all it was.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
didn't
that's
we
true.
didn't miss Shadow at all.
Yeah. I missed
I
him
think my
during the
only
advanced
thing-
games. Sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
No, I think my only thing with like IDW right now is some of the stories are starting to feel a little redundant. There's only so many times I can see Eggman like grab one of the animal creatures and like slam them against something and think, oh man, that's so cool, when I've already seen it a couple of times at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like, oh, you thought that was cool? I'll just do it again. Like, okay, calm down. It was cool the one time.
It's the classic Sonic syndrome coming into play again.
I just don't think they have a lot
Dr.
to work
Starline
with.
did
and-
not.
Sorry, go ahead.
Starline did not stop the Sonic cycle after all.
I'll be reading the comics like slamming animals again.
And somehow we don't
Hello.
want Sally back. Come on.
Like it. God, fucking damn it! I can't smash you.
No, I haven't gotten that same feeling of like redundancy quite yet, but at the same time, I don't know. I haven't because I haven't felt that. I'm not super upset, and also like with Surge running around just kind of causing trouble for everybody. I like Dragon Ball Z, and that's the same thing that most DBZ villains did.
I mean,
in
to
their
that, I
time.
would also like say, I've said this a lot about Spider-Man recently, and I'll say it about this too. Every comic book series, you're not supposed to read all of them. There's like jumping on and jumping off points for different generations to get into it and stuff. And I don't know if Sonic has really gotten far enough for there to be a big generational jump on, jump off point. But like, it is a thing with comics is they're repetitive, and they will be if you read every single one. You know, like.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
that really applies to a very single series. Like it's clear, like from issue 1 to now, you need a lot of the context up until the point we are right now. Like
Oh, so it is dependent then.
I'm just
I mean,
talking
this is
specifically
closer
about
to
this
a-
project.
Okay.
This project's closer to a manga to me than a standard like DC or Marvel comic fare.
What I think is missing with this, and I think the issue I'm running into it is just without the metal virus. I think the metal virus just happened way too soon, just in general. They probably needed to help kind of boost interest in sales and everything, and it's a great story, but the world is just not established enough to really feel the impact of that thing. And now that we've had it so early on, it is literally the second big story, right after a very short story with Neo Metal. Is like it kind of feels directionless after a big saga like that. Like we don't have a big like an objective to kind of focus on and single out. At least as far as we can tell, they keep hinting that there's going to be some more stuff in 2023. But just right now, it kind of feels a little bit aimless. And it might not be, just because like Surge is interesting, and we have a new Eggman City that is hopefully going to be sticking around and really establish itself as a new big location in Sonic's world. But after Metal Virus, like it just feels weird. It feels like we should be, prepping up for another big storyline, and maybe they are, but it does
like,
drag a bit on occasion.
It's got Phase 4 syndrome in a way, like with Marvel, like, how after Endgame, it's kind of just like, where are we going next,
A little meandering.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you get a
like,
good solid conclusion, and then you still have to keep going. Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
get like what you're saying about Metal Virus being too early as well. I mean, like, imagine if like Sonic Forces was like the second Sonic game or something. Like,
Right.
none of it would matter. I mean, none of it does matter because it's written by hacks, but like, like none of
Jesus.
it would even try to matter, like, I mean, Metal Virus is a million times better than Sonic Forces, don't get me wrong. You get what I'm saying, like, you have your extremes, and to do the extreme too early is like, it can kind of hurt where your book goes for the rest of it, like.
Yeah. I think they're doing a fine job, just in terms of just the storytelling in general and the characterizations. Like, I still, check in every month because, like, as much as I love the Freedom Fighters and a lot of the stuff that Ian did later on with Archie and all that stuff. Uh, man, like just growing up with Archie, like this is so unbelievably nice. I keep saying like, yeah, let's get everything in for Sonic, just because I want it as set dressing. But I gotta admit, like at first when I jumped into IDW, it was so refreshing just to be like, I don't need to worry about all this extra fucking lore. This is just a Sonic story, and I can have a good time with it. And I'm still appreciating it for that on that front, but I do think they need just a little bit more, just a tiny bit. But
I think
overall, it's good.
I'm gonna be honest. So you know how in Archie we got like the Iron Invasion and stuff like that happened in that story.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna be honest. I think we might need something akin to that in this story. Some other opposing force. Kind of like Starline was his own opposing force, but Starline was very much he's an offshoot of Eggman. I love him for everything that he is, but he's very much an Eggman that hasn't learned a lot of the lessons that Eggman needed to learn yet, and getting his comeuppance for not, feeling like he learned all the lessons Eggman needed to learn, and then obviously not having learned them.
He's also very much connected to that character as well. Like,
yeah, he's very connected to them. Whereas, like in Archie, we got a second opposing force that came and usurped Snively away from Eggman, and then literally started taking over the world in a way that he had previously done. And they were their own problem for I don't remember how long that freaking arc was, but it was a pretty lengthy one.
So what you're saying,
it wasn't super good either. That was the problem.
So what you're saying is that it's time for Zavok, and you're ready for Zeddy.
No, I want a. So I like Starline, not just in concept, but I also like him because he's a new villain, and I like not Scourge, but I like Surge because she is a villain that can go several routes and be a thorn in everybody's side. Like she can complicate every story going forward. I will like her.
Oh, that's
I like her a lot
good.
right now, but I think I'm going to like her even more when she is, the thing complicating other stories and making them harder on the heroes. But I want an Iron Invasion styled story, or at least a story with that kind of scope where Eggman just is not prepared to be part of this. And it's not even a problem of his own design like in Metal Virus. It's just not something that he's prepped for. And everybody has to go all hands on deck for an extended period of time to make things work out. Like I think something like that could kind of light the fire where that story is concerned after we've gone through our Surge pisses everybody off on Tumblr arc she's on right now.
Yeah, I do think they're going to be building up to something else. I mean, like these guys have to be more aware of this than we ever are, and I would have to imagine like after the success of the Metal Virus, they're really reevaluating what comes next in terms of like a really big shakeup for this storyline. And I think IDW has always been a bit of a slow burn. They're very, very slow with some of the stories where I think that's the biggest detriment of it. But I think looking back on it and reading it as it comes is going to make it all the more exciting. And I really hope they do something more with the other element that they brought in near the end of the year here. Something we have to talk about before we jump off comics. Scrapnik Island.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Scrapnik is great.
It's so good.
Hey, do we know at what point in the timeline Scrapnik's supposed to take place yet?
I have a feeling. I know what it is.
Okay.
So, did you notice in the more recent the more recent issue, while Metal and Sonic are fighting, he says like, "I haven't given up on you yet, Metal."
No, but also remember I'm not caught up yet for other reasons.
Okay, well
Yeah,
they
I
have
need to read
they
Scrapnik
have
yet
a
myself.
they have a quick fight, and he says that specifically, and I think that is kind of a reaction to whatever happened between him and Mecha, with whatever's going to be wrapping up with Scrapnik Island. I really think that they've been pushing a lot of like AI being its own, like it is still life and it matters kind of a thing. They've been really pushing that a lot in this, just in the series in general, and I think that's going to come to a head with Mecha Sonic specifically when Scrapnik wraps up here. And they did say in Scrapnik, I forgot it was issue 2 or 3, Tails was like, hey, your leg's been through a lot recently. So that's telling me that happened after they crash in the Eggperial City in 50. So I'm assuming it takes place between when Sonic gets his leg healed, which we saw there was like a bit of a time jump there, and when they started getting back into it with Surge. So I think that's where it takes place specifically, because it happens recently around with the other stuff with the indication of the leg injury, and when he fights Metal the next time, there's just a different tone with the way Sonic reacts with him, and I think that is kind of, I think that's Metal. I think that's Mecha just really, leaving an impact on Sonic on some level. So that's my ramble. That's where I think it takes place.
Okay, well, I'm glad that we still have the Dragon Ball Z movie problem even in 2022.
I don't think there is, man. I think they did a pretty decent job in terms of like giving you hints on where it takes place. I don't think it's going to be as messy as Dragon Ball.
Well, we will see. I'm excited to see where everything goes. Maybe it's just the Alvin Earthworm fan in me that grew up with Mario Brothers Z that just really likes. I like a Mecha Sonic story because I had such a fun Mecha Sonic story growing up in fanfic form.
I mean, that was that was a great fucking time.
So we will see.
I've seen that.
It's good shit, man.
It's a good romp.
It's corny as shit, but it's fun as hell.
So I do have a couple things where the comic's concerned, though, that make me feel a bit not weird, but just wondering how they're going to tie everything together. We know Sage is going to have to be integrated into the comics. We know that's a thing they're going to end up having to do.
It's going to be interesting if she meets Belle, isn't it? Like,
so ending of Frontiers, Sage is literally the type of character that the comics want to begin with how often the comics have delved into like the personalities, the sentience of AI. That's Sage's story to a T as well.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of those.
They're gonna have to do something with her.
I would only disagree just because I really don't think they are going to kind of take away the reintroduction of Sage and put it into the comic. If she does show up, I really think we have to wait till the next game to see whether or not she becomes a mainstay in Eggman's overall arsenal. Because this comic can't really do anything to, how do I put it, like it can't go against whatever canon they're setting up in the Sonic games directly. So hopefully
they can't rock the boat.
Right. So it's going to depend whether or not Sage is going to be a mainstay, I think, because I mean, Infinite hasn't shown up anywhere else after Forces. So
I mean, yeah, but we also never got any hint that he'd be coming back.
Also, we did get the Sonic channel calendar today, and the first month has Shadow and Infinite on it.
Yep. I thought you'd enjoy that.
Yeah, I did. Dude, they're gay. Like, the way he's holding that microphone and everything, and the way they're dressed, they're gay. There's no way. No way they're not.
I still say they just... Oh, that reminds me. Somebody made a... You see earlier in the chat, somebody accidentally made a typo when talking about the Bad Guys miniseries. It's like, I think it said something like, really enjoyed the Bad Gays or something like that.
I thought you were going to say bed guys.
I mean, that's a perfect description of Starline if I've ever seen it.
Infinite, thrust harder. I am not weak.
I don't know why. I just.
Oh my gosh. There we go. All right. And yeah, guys, like just going forward, I mean, like I'm seeing in the chat here, like you maybe don't listen to a Sonic podcast if you're concerned about spoilers, because like it's been a couple months now. We have to be able to talk a little bit more freely about this game at some point. So yeah, like that's just kind of how that goes.
I don't think any of us have assumed that Mecha's going to maintain villain status at the end of the arc. I don't think anybody said anything even remotely near like that.
I really hope he doesn't die is the thing. I think like that kind of go against a lot of the things they're setting up in terms of this story, in terms of Scrapnik. So I hope he doesn't. I hope he's just around and chilling out and evolving from his original programming, all that shit.
Hey, how do we feel about them like bringing back characters we haven't seen in a while to give them send-offs? Like, how do we feel about that? I don't know if that's what they're doing because again, I still need to read Scrapnik Island, but like, how would we feel? I wouldn't mind.
It'd be a little upsetting because like so the thing with IDW, the IDW comics does a really good does a really good job with its characters and characterization, with only a handful of exceptions. And since Sonic has such a bevy of characters that people love, that sometimes they don't get a lot of time in the spotlight, bringing a character back just for the purpose of giving them a send off kind of upsets me a little bit, only because we have a comic that does so good at showing us those characters at various stages of their life, even when they're just hanging around each other. The dialogue is fun.
I mean, I'd say like the send off for them is just the end of the story, effectively. Like they still get a good like final story and everything. Like I would be okay with if they wanted to like I don't know bring back Chip, and then like actually maybe don't kill Chip, don't kill him. He's a Scrimblow. But like let's say Mephiles then in that case, you know, like
I kind of feel like that would take away from the original ending of whatever story those characters were focused on. I mean, it's case by case, but
I guess yeah we have to talk more about forgotten Sonic characters than I guess you know.
I think stuff like that would work really well because like I would like to see like Mephiles come back, but I think the portal to make that happen truly is Silver. The only way to not take away from those characters' stories but still bring them in is to utilize time travel or something like that, where they are in for the story but then they have to go back to their time. But we also know that time travel doesn't work that way in Sonic. Once you do something in one timeline, it affects everything in the future. That's been
look. I've joked about it. I don't think they give a fuck, dude. I don't think they give a shit. They'll do whatever they have to do. Like it's just how that goes. I don't think they've actually thought it through.
Shall we move along to the next part of the Year of Sonic?
Well, Wayne, you've been kind of quiet. Did you have any final thoughts with anything comic related?
I mean, I've been happy with what the comics have been doing. Again, like I said, I do feel like some of them, like there have been a couple of things where it's just like, oh boy, I'm happy to see Metal Sonic, but I'm not excited by like the 15th showdown with Metal Sonic that I've seen in this comic run in the past year.
A little
stuff like that.
Would
I'm
be
just
nice, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking to just kind of see where they go next with it. I'm happy with where it's at. I just it feels like something else is cooking, and I just kind of want to see what that is.
Yeah, same here.
All
Oh,
right.
squeaky voice. There we go. I'm trying to burp. All right. So I'd say the next big thing. Let's take a look at the piss. Is Sonic Origins.
The next thing, yes, Sonic Origins. So we're gonna have a little look back on that one. Since we last spoke about it, there's been a patch, and no one ever talks about the game anymore, which is pretty unsurprising to me, considering it is just 4 games already played repackaged. But like, even then, there's a lot of fanfare beginning, before it came out for like I don't think anyone like knows they're playing it anymore if they are.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think just how bad they bungled the launch is enough of a reason to say why it's just not being talked about at all. It's not in the same conversation with Sonic Jam or Sonic Mega Collection, which is a shame because it had there's no reason it shouldn't have just completely toppled those collections, and it's pretty offensive to me.
So I think at the time it came out, I don't know if I said like this is like a 0 out of 10 kind of thing. I was very harsh on it when it first came out, and to be honest, I still kind of do feel that way. But it's one of those things where I want to acknowledge I feel like the situation surrounding the product is worse than the product itself. Like, playing it itself, it's one of those things where a lot of the issues, you kind of need to be looking for them, but it is the question of why does a new release version of these things have less stability than the originals that came out decades earlier? That is a completely valid question, and whether or not that tanks the overall experience is completely subjective, but like for me, I can still boot up Sonic Origins as a means of playing Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and have a perfectly satisfactory time with it. Which is why I think I would go a little easier on it now, while still acknowledging that I think it is a pretty dire circumstance that a decades later re-release is in many ways inferior to the original. I appreciate things like the upscaling and, the widescreen and stuff like that, but it's a hard sell, okay? The game at the original retail price for effectively, it's got widescreen support now, and I get that these things were remade from the ground up, but like, when you think about what you're getting, it was always kind of a hard sell. It's an even harder sell when you factor in the technical issues and how much they're holding back compared to previous collections. Whether or not this was, oh, we just want to focus on the origins of these characters, neither here nor there, it's a smaller product, you know?
Yeah, I don't hate Sonic Origins. I got frustrated while playing through it the first time because of things like the tails getting locked and jumping infinitely glitch, stuff like that. But the thing is, a lot of that stuff, if you just patch some of that out, if I were to just hand this to somebody as, hey, you haven't played any Sonic games before, here, try this series out for the first time, see how you enjoy it. I think it'll function for that, and it's enough in some cases. I don't hate it. I was a lot more jaded about it when it came out. I'm not as jaded about it now.
I think, things like the added animations and stuff do add a little bit, but again, it's not enough, like considering the hard sell that the rest of this is, I still don't feel like it's enough. They needed to do more to justify it. They needed to ask more. What can we do for these games to pay proper service to them, make the ultimate versions of these games? How much versatility can we include? It should be all about customization options and stuff like that, not just copping out with an anniversary and a classic mode. Have toggle switches and stuff, But like that's the thing is you think there is so much more they could have done with this. The product as it stands, if you got a friend that wants to get into Sonic or whatever, it's a perfectly satisfactory way of getting into it. But the thing is, this was marketed as an anniversary event. You've got like little Sonic at the end of it being like, I make 31 years look good. This was very much like a for fans thing. The fans have already played more stable versions of these games. So it's kind of like, what is this? Is it an introduction or is it a celebration? As an introduction, it's fine. As a celebration, it's a complete failure, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's kind of like, and this is an issue that I've been having not just with Sonic, but also with Magic the Gathering's had this issue this year as well of like looking at a product and going, is this for me? Like somebody who really, really likes this character, somebody who really, really likes this story, this world, is this product for me? I feel like Origins, outside of the little animations, it wasn't a product for me. It wasn't built as a product for me. And that, I don't know if I should feel a type of way about that, but I kind of do.
So
Even down to like, sorry, go on, Nick.
the
I've
thing,
sorted out.
the thing about what made Sonic Collection so unbelievably important, and I think this started back with Sonic Jam, and definitely carried on with Mega Collection in its own different way, is that it's both. It's not one or the other. It's a celebration. It's an introduction. That is what those things are there for. It's there to preserve what made this series so special. Understanding the origins of it. It's literally called Origins, and they had everyone and everything they needed to really hit this out of the park, and they failed. And it told me that Sega is fine with good enough. And I said it before, and I'll keep saying it. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is not good enough. And that alone is just to be like, this is unacceptable. There's a lot of great stuff here, and I'm happy a lot of people have enjoyed it. It's not my job. Like, I'm not IGN. I don't need to sell this to anybody else. I find it deeply offensive this came out the way it did, and I was very, very worried about the future of Sonic just with the DLC alone, not the DLC, because that didn't happen, even if it was promised. But like, I was really concerned with the pre-order shit, and then like Oh, and also we're going to take things out of the game that clearly should just be just little accoutrements, and then say, spend extra $5. And we're going to keep training you kids to say, oh, it's $5. It's not that big of a deal. Because they've been doing that for years. Like, it's not that big of a deal, not that big of a deal, not that big of a deal.
Do you want
Like-
camera control in the menus? $5?
And it wasn't even that. It was literally just being able to zoom in.
Yeah.
Like
Holy
I thought it
shit,
was
that
like,
offended
you
me.
could rotate the
Yeah,
island or something.
exactly.
I have not. I literally like. I every night before I go to bed, I thank the maker that I never bought an NFT in my entire life. But the closest I've ever felt to being that stupid with my cash was buying the digital deluxe
Yes,
of Sonic
that's
Origins.
a perfect
And
description.
I shouldn't feel that way buying a DLC. And between Colors Ultimate and Sonic Origins, they were so aggressive with this. Fortunately, they did reel it in a little bit with Frontiers, with a digital deluxe that's just, there's not even any point in buying it whatsoever. But, like, okay, I'll take that over you slicing pieces of the game off and selling it to me separately. But goddamn, like, Sonic Origins, you might as well have shipped it out with an NFT. Like,
You know that Disney animation where Donald, Goofy, and Mickey are all like, they're super poor. It's the middle of winter.
yeah, and they're cutting the bread.
They're cutting the bread.
The like air thin bread.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
the Christmas Carol one with Scrooge McDuck, and yeah, the
No, that
Yeah.
wasn't
No,
Christmas
it was,
Carol.
Origins.
it was
wasn't-
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah.
that was the Sonic Origins experience. And as I say, like the fact that we've got a box set that wants to, it's not even a box set, it's literally digital, but like the fact that we've got this that succeeds at 50% of what it needs to do. I think it succeeds at introducing newbies to Sonic, but it's like that's only 50% because it was advertised as celebrate the games that defined a generation. And it was advertised with all these new features, which amount to nothing in at the end of the day. Like, would I rather have a mirror mode, or would I rather be able to play Sonic Spinball? Would I rather be able to play Sonic's 3D Blast, or the Game Gear titles, or something like that? I'll take more content over the same content mirrored. Thank you very much.
I remember being so convinced seeing that volcano. I was just like, oh, so cool. They'll actually be cool enough to include like some secret games like Sonic Spinball and stuff like that in there. Nah, they really just did not give a shit with that collection, man.
The thing is also, though, it's a testament to how badly Sega adapts to times sometimes as well, because the museum, and the museum does sound like kind of a selling point in a way. Like, the museum elements of the previous collections were some of the best parts of those collections. The thing is, they haven't adapted to modern times, because nowadays you can find all that stuff on the internet. What I think Sega needed to do was think, okay, what can we offer then in this museum that they can't just find on Google Images or on YouTube or something? What can we offer? And they didn't. They just bunged in the Mania Adventures, they bunged in the Symphony, and it's just like, all this stuff you can just get on YouTube. If you're going to sell this as part of a package, I'm fine with it being there, but if you're going to advertise the museum as kind of a selling point, unlock the museum, as the trailer said, you need something there that you can't just get for free online, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's just a comic viewer, even if it's just an exclusive preview of Sonic Frontiers, an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the future of Sonic or something. The past is easily accessed by the internet, but why are you holding out on the future, you know?
I don't really mind them not talking about the future. That's not the point of that collection. It is supposed to be like, here is the definitive canon and
It's
the
just
best
one
way to
example.
play. Yeah, but it's still supposed to be like the definitive way to play these games, and they also use the animation to kind of help set up what the canon is supposed to be, all that silly stuff. Just because the big debate on where Sonic CD takes place, still don't completely agree with the order of it. Gameplay wise, I still do. I appreciate that they just went to the effort, but like this was supposed to be the definitive way, and they failed on that front. And then they went to the classic mode, and then they failed on that front because it's not even the classic games. It's not the original way to play those games, which I could ramble on forever about how big of a problem that is to me. But all of that said, like even on YouTube, the day before the game released, they showed every single fucking cutscene. So not even, like, yeah, you get it all on YouTube. They couldn't even wait for the game to come out before they showed it on YouTube themselves. It's fucking mind-boggling.
That said, was that not just outlets that were given review copies that did that. I'm pretty sure, like, was
They
it
would.
Katie or whatever was saying, please don't do that.
I don't know if it was Katie or not. I don't really think it matters. Game Explain did it, and they still have to get signed off by somebody to do that.
Right.
So I don't know, but like if that was Game Explain's fault or Sega's, but whatever the case is, I really feel like Sega dropped the ball on so many levels there. And we've heard like from Stealth, and I've heard from other people like, well, Stealth is not blameless in this, and I sincerely doubt he is, but like, man, this really kind of broke my heart because we had so many people that give a shit about this franchise working on games they dearly love, and
It's
this
down
is
the
what
drain.
we got. Yeah, and it's
The Mania Dream is officially down the drain for now, like, it seems.
yeah. I'm hoping they come out with a new 2D game, but as far as who's making it is what is going to concern me going forward. So I mean, I guess it's going to be a wait and see situation here, but yeah, not only did they go back and kind of slap my favorite game in the face, they did, unfortunately, worryingly, probably screwed up what could have been a brilliant side, not side section, but just another separate branch of the Sonic franchise. While they're working on the big 3D game, you always have something creative and fun on the 2D front that works and is doing its own thing and is servicing that section of the fan base. So it doesn't always have to be one or the other.
Yeah, it feels like in many ways 2022 is the inverse of 2017 when like 2017 Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces, classic Sonic fans ate pretty well that year. Modern Sonic fans barely even got to touch their toast. Whereas you move into 2022, the classic Sonic fans are Hank Marvin, and the modern fans were kind of enjoying Frontiers. We'll get to that when we do. But like I think ideally it would be nice to have a year when if they're going to give us a classic project and a modern project, if they could both be home runs, that would be much appreciated. As it stands, I will say this on the classic end of things, I think 2022 was carried by the fans. It was carried by things like Sonic and the Fallen Star, Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit, games like that. They absolutely carried the torch for classic Sonic this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I will be happy when we can finally, or if we ever can get the ability to return to the Sonic Advance kind of era of Sonic. I miss as rose tinted as it is, I do miss what Nick was mentioning, where we'd always have that 2D project happening on the side. Sometimes the 2D project was like Sonic Rivals, and that wasn't great. But sometimes that 2D product was Sonic Rush. That was pretty good.
I agree with that. Like, that's something I've been saying is I kind of missed Dimp's age, like when you would get a separate game for like devoted to the console. I said on Twitter at one point, I think it would be really cool if Sonic Team would make their more upcoming releases more focused on next gen consoles like PS5 and Xbox Series S and stuff like that. And then have Dimps make a separate game for like the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, that post got a lot of backlash because I think like Sega's sales figures as it is are at their absolute best on Switch. So it makes sense that they're going to put their best foot forward on the Switch. Fine, 2022 was the year that I accepted that we're not going to get a Sonic game that is technologically on the level of, say, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Even then, though, that doesn't excuse the popping, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I think if we can get to the point where we don't need hyper realistic grass textures, we'll be okay.
Well, we got to find that middle ground, haven't we? Because we don't want it looking like Lost World. Because I've bellyached and complained about Lost World till the cows come home. I feel like Frontiers' art direction was definitely better than Lost World's, but like, well, a better fit anyway than Lost World's. But
yeah, Lost World just kind of feels like Mario Light.
There's a middle ground to be had. I think if they can make it cartoonish without it looking plastic, like you can have a cartoony art style that doesn't look like Mario, like that. That's simple.
I thought Lost World looked better than Sonic Frontiers.
I don't think it's the does it look better, does it look worse for me. I think it's more than just I don't want that particular aesthetic.
Art direction is different from overall, yeah. No,
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
talking.
like,
Yeah,
like,
I'm talking like.
it's more quality, yes, but I don't like the art direction as much. The art
I
direction
think
for Frontiers,
I still like
like
the art direction better. I mean, it's 2 Mario. I still like the art direction better. It still felt like Sonic aesthetic. Overused Sonic aesthetic, don't get me wrong. And yeah, the modern Sonic didn't exactly fit with that world. I don't really think he fit very well with the Frontiers world either.
my main point of comparison is, I guess, like if let's pretend for a second that Windy Hill is Green Hill and put it next to Generations as Green Hill. Generations 1 is how it should be done, in my opinion. Like, where it's
Sure.
kind of textured, it kind of looks tangible, it kind of looks like a naturalistic environment while still having those cartoon sensibilities. What Lost World does is just too Mario, in my opinion. And I think if we can keep it to the Generations end of the scale, that's the best way to go. With Frontiers, it definitely has more that textured look, which I appreciate. And I think the Starfall Islands were made the way that they are, were made almost kind of photoreal as a means of making them look uncanny to Sonic and his universe, because that's kind of what they're supposed to be. They're these very mysterious locations. I think it works for that. I just think I want them to find a way to eliminate the pop-in issues and stuff. Even then, with later titles, later locations, I don't want them all looking like the Starfall Islands. As I was saying to you, Nick, on like some of my latter days in the States, I think the games going forward will determine Sonic Frontiers' place in the Sonic canon. And like the Starfall Islands, the way they look and stuff. If future games come out and the islands look like the Starfall Islands, that's going to make Frontiers retroactively worse because it will just be like, okay, these are just very photorealistic islands and they're just very biome related and stuff.
I
If
think
you get that again, it's not going to work. We need to return to some kind of form for the next one so that we can say that's just the Starfall Islands. They're uncanny, they're mysterious. That's how they are. You know,
I think
that's
the Starfire Islands being uncanny on purpose is a headcanon. I'm going to be really honest with you.
I don't know though, because like things like art design and the design of these islands and stuff will have gone through rigorous phases. Like, I know we like to meme on Sega as like an indie studio and stuff, but the truth is they're not. There will have definitely been quite a lengthy process determining and deciding how these islands will look. I don't think they just went to the Unreal Assets department and threw everything in there. I mean, if they did, that would be really bad. But like, I don't think they did.
So they kind of did. So if
Yeah,
you
I
look at
the Mega Scans logo,
Well,
I saw that.
I mean all 4 of those logos are known for that. I mean they did make their own stuff. Don't get me wrong there. I mean we don't know for sure, right? Like none of us are actually a part of Sega. We weren't a part of the development process. And let's be real, we're done with Origins. We're talking about Frontiers now. But I think there's I would assume there's a truth between both of what you guys are saying. Pup is right. Like, you really need to, like, art direction is its own department, and you need to kind of build your world around what your theming is and everything like that. In terms of the story, I kind of feel like they missed the mark a little bit, just in terms of like, yeah, it's supposed to be ancient, weird, and mysterious, and feel a little alien. It is still on Sonic's world, and these are ruins from like before anything else we've seen in the Sonic games. So like, figure it out, guys. Like, what are we doing here? I do a big section in this video that I still promise to everybody and I just never release, where I do compare like how Breath of the Wild does ruins versus how Frontiers does ruins. And I do think they did a better job in terms of like, if we're going to be following the framework of Zelda, and I think this goes for a little bit of Lost World, I sometimes feel like there's a lot of good framework to be inspired by in terms of what Nintendo did right, but occasionally I feel like they didn't learn the right lessons. And if you're going to go so hard into some of, the copy paste in terms of like Nintendo design, maybe go a little bit further. In terms of Lost World, I think they did a great job in terms of polish for the overall look of everything, because
Yeah, like I don't notice any popping in Lost World or anything like that.
I think it's animated beautifully, and if you don't have that bias against like a Mario design, I think that game looks really damn pretty. But removing that and looking towards like Frontiers, I think where it kind of falls apart is all of the level design is floating above the map itself, And while it's fun to run
They need
around,
to-
it gets a little bit janky on occasion. And like there's the landmarks there are some decent ones, but again, most of them just feel like just shapes. There's nothing
they
special
need
about
to
them.
make things more diegetic. Like is
Right.
like the main word here is so that like the interactables are not so obviously separate from the world itself. I think Sonic Frontiers is the blueprint for a 10 out of 10 game. We're not at 10 out of 10 yet, and I think there is an element to the Sonic fan base where it's like, why can't we just get a 10 out of 10 already? But in fairness, that attitude worked very well for the games like Sonic Forces. But with this, it's the first of the third generation of Sonic, as Takeshi Iizuka's calling it. And I think no matter how good it was going to be, there was still going to be some growing pains in there. Now, that's not to say accept accept everything for what it is. No, but like it's at a point where I can accept it. That's how I view it. Is I can accept the Starfall Islands for what they are. In future games, I want the puzzles to be more Sonic, and I want them to be more diegetic to the environments. One idea I had, and I expressed this in my video on Sonic's loop-de-loop problem, was finding ways to make the loop-de-loop work in 3D and make it work in an open zone. And one of the ideas I had was you could have a giant loop-de-loop as the centerpiece of the stage, and you can't get around it by your own momentum. You can't get around it by yourself. You have to rely on dash pads, but you could have it so you have to quick step into the dash pads in order to make it around. If you miss a dash pad, he falls off. That's the kind of challenge and the kind of design I would really love to see in an open zone game. Take it a little further. Later Island, have a figure 8 loop-de-loop or something, Like, there are ways they can build these very integral, fundamental design concepts from Sonic directly into these islands, and I think that's what I want to see next.
I feel like if they're going to put RPG elements in there, they should have probably focused on building up Sonic's momentum, on like the length of the boost and stuff like that. That's how it should have evolved, instead of, oh, you can level up your speed, but also you've got a whole bunch of like customizable different things for your speed. Like, it's just trying to have its cake and eat it too, and it's just kind of a mess on that front. I mean, overall the game's fun, but like if you're bringing RPG elements in, focus on Sonic's speed and be like, maybe you have to build up enough of a level to like, now he's fast enough because you did all these other things on the island, and now he's quick enough to do that giant loop-de-loop. But sorry, Stress, I keep interrupting you.
I was trying to say something like back when we were on the aesthetics conversation. I just couldn't get it.
Sorry. Go for it.
That's okay. I was gonna say, like, if we're talking about Sonic aesthetics that we want going forward, and Sonic games that have actually like hit the nail on the head, for almost everything, if I'm being honest, I think I want to see more games that just look like Sonic Heroes. Like, it may not be my favorite Sonic game, but when I think of like a game that nails that middle ground between this is what a city looks like in the Sonic universe, this is what a jungle biome looks like in the Sonic universe, this is what all this stuff looks like in Sonic's world, Heroes and IDW look remarkably similar to me in those regards. And
I agree.
I think I just want more of the Sonic Heroes style for everything. Don't give me another, Neo Metal Kaiju fight, but definitely give me that aesthetic style.
I mean, the thing I don't want, though, is I don't want them resting on the idea that we've got a green environment, therefore it must have checkerboard patterns and stripes and stuff. Because then we end up with Green Hill again, in a way. Like Seaside Hill.
They only did that for Seaside, though. They didn't do that
Sure,
for
but
the
then,
jungle biome.
But then you've got, like, the casino, and that's very much Casino Night. I don't want Sonic Team to just rest on the same level archetypes. Even if they've got different names, even if they're technically different locations, I don't want it to be a Sonic City's definitely a casino, a Sonic Field is definitely a Green Hill Zone and stuff like that. I
mean, that also had Metropolis, though, which was completely different to most things we'd had, as well as the Egg Fleet.
Sure, but I don't necessarily need that to happen constantly. I don't.
No, I'm not. It's not the what he's saying. Sorry to interrupt. Okay. Just, sir, it's just first off, like, we're having some stream issues here, guys, so we're gonna have to wrap things up sooner rather than later.
Okay.
But I mean, you got to keep in mind when Heroes came out and what it was trying to do. It was trying to reincorporate classic Sonic level design in with the more modernized things that they were bringing, or more realistic stuff they were bringing in with Adventure 1 and 2. I think I'm with Cirrus in terms of like, yeah, you saw some of the tropes in play there, but also like keep in mind, like they were also advancing it or doing things differently. Like Seaside Hill is not Green Hill. It's similar enough, and it plays the the role of an introduction level, but also it's got giant sea turtles and these ancient seaside ruins and a lot of cool shit there. And yeah, Metropolis does kind of feel like you're finally running through all of those city levels that you'd always see in the backgrounds in the classic games, and also kind of giving you a reminiscent feel of like what Adventure 1 and 2 were bringing into the table. And then Hang Castle, it's just a spooky ass level. It felt like the merger of what Adventure 2 was doing with a more like a classic idea with it. I felt, if I'm correct, Cirrus, in your assumption here, like that felt like a proper merger of all of those ideas, while at the same time trying to do things a little bit differently from what's come before.
Yeah, for me, the thing that Heroes is it is the adventure style level aesthetic design and the classic style level aesthetic design having a baby, and that baby coming out without genetic flaws.
Fair enough.
I think the thing I guess I'm kind of asking for then is I just want to know, is there a completely original concept for a stage that they haven't done before that they could do? Because I would like to see something that isn't any kind of archetype that has just never been done before for Sonic.
You're going to have a hard time doing that just in gaming in general, just because they've explored so much. And the way they kind of work around that, and Sonic has done this a couple of times, and I'm thinking specifically, believe it or not, Sonic 4 Episode 2, where they kind of merge themes together to come up with something new.
Yeah.
So
well, it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I would take even like my idea of Glass Hill Zone, like I'd take that. Like it's a green hill zone, but it's made of glass and it changes color and stuff.
Why?
Because it's cool and it's glass, and like that would be really cool. Like you could really go ham with the ray tracing effects on it. It's just I would take that over another green hill, right?
Okay.
It was my idea for cyberspace was make everything look like it's made of like purple.
Glass Hill again?
I don't know. I just think a Sonic level that's made entirely of glass would be really cool. You can like neon lights, make it like a laser light show, just make it trippy as hell.
I mean, the moment in Speed Highway where Sonic is just like crashing through the glass on his way down to the running down the
Make that the entire level.
basically like make it to where like you're like some of the glass is there and like it's playing with the reflections. Like some of the glass is there to trick you and make you run in the wrong direction. Some of the glass has to be broken through.
Some of the glass you literally can jump into it and you're in another part of the level.
Yeah,
you're in the reflection, like rift apart in a way. Like
yeah, there's actually like I like that idea. There's a lot of really fun ways you can play around with the ways that we've just the ways that we've used glass in video games. We've used glass as a breakable. We've used glass as a door. We've used glass as a portal. We've used glass as a reflection. We've used it as a purely aesthetic thing. We've used it as a slippery surface. Slurface? We've used it as a slippery surface.
That's a stage name, is slippery slurface.
Yeah, but like stuff like that. You could have like
I want to see
Acid Hill, like Sonic just drops acid and that's the whole game.
No, that's not what I thought it was. I was thinking like that one corner area of Rusty Bucket Bay and Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, no, just have it like so that the sky is literally made of paint, like...
I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to like the overall style of Sonic Frontiers, I don't have an issue with it. It's more of just like the way that they designed the world with the assets on hand. I honestly think if they made Sonic Adventure 1 in the same style that they were going for at that time period, Frontiers is what it would have looked like. They were always going for hyperrealism.
I disagree. Just on the front, like I think overall aesthetic, I know what you're saying there. I only disagree just in terms of like I think my overall issue with Frontiers art direction versus Sonic Adventure, when I see Sonic Adventure and they put Sonic in a brand new environment that's, feels a little more realistic, you still have Casinopolis, or like you go to Speed Highway and it looks fucking wild and crazy, and you're still like utilizing the buildings and the and the roads are kind of twisting and turning and everything.
Well, that's what I mean though. Is like I like the aesthetic just fine. It's the way that they design, and I don't like that everything is so flat. I'm fine with like the way that they do texture work and everything in Frontiers. That's more of what I mean. Because like if you look at the textures in Sonic Adventure 1, some of those could honestly just be fucking pictures of real roads. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Right?
At the same time, though, it's just like there is a difference between going for hyper realism for a Sonic game today versus going for it then, because everything just looked better on the Dreamcast anyway. Fight me.
But right, this is really cool. Okay, I know he hasn't sent money, so I shouldn't read it, but screw it. Charles Champ just said, put Sonic inside a giant creature, run along the organs, spinball through blood vessels, fight giant bacteria, etc. That's an awesome idea.
Oh, so a Sonic level based off of Clanker's Cavern from Banjo-Kazooie?
I'm
okay with that.
Sonic
I was thinking Dr. Mario.
I mean, I was just thinking of bodies in general,
Okay.
I was thinking Mario Land 2, the Whale Zone.
Well, actually, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild wasn't the first game to have bodies in it.
Actually, speaking of Zelda, that's a whole fucking dungeon in Ocarina of Time inside Fish Guts.
It is.
Sorry.
Jabu's belly.
Sorry, Wayne, go ahead.
Hear me out. We put Sonic in a jar.
No.
All right, but also imagine the memes, right? By having the end of the level be that you get pooped out, and like imagine.
You mean Sonic Dreams Collection?
Imagine the memes of people saying like, "Oh yeah, this is how Sega made Sonic games in the mid-2000s." That'd be meme material.
Pup, have you played Sonic Dreams Collection?
No, I haven't, but I want to get pooped out in an official Sonic game.
God.
Oh, buddy.
We gotta get Pup to sit down and play Sonic Dreams Collection.
We do.
Holy shit. How have you not played this?
So we're getting in the nitty-gritty here in terms of like Frontier and overanalyzing it, and we'll probably do that plenty of other times, but we should probably, just in the focus of like the point of this particular episode, which is looking back on the year, how do we feel about it?
Quickly summarize, I guess, what we could say is many of us are kind of in a form of agreement that there's more that can be done with the aesthetic, but I personally really like the structure anyway, and I don't mind the aesthetic.
I don't mind it either. I think it has a long way to go, but it feels like a step in the right direction, as I keep saying over and over again. I'm more positive than not about the future of Sonic, thanks to Sonic Frontiers. I feel like I was worried a lot about how they're going to piecemeal content when this clearly wasn't a finished game, and Sega did the right thing. They're giving these folks more money to make, the rest of the game, and they're doing it for free, and I hope it's a sign of things to come for the franchise as a whole.
I think more important than anything else for me is please cut it out with the goddamn Green Hill Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary Zone in the next game. I don't want to see any familiar zones whatsoever. I don't care if you haven't done them again before. Just don't do it. New zones. Give me the inside of a human body. Give me glass. Give me acid trip. I don't care. Just give me something that isn't done before. Please.
More temples.
They were kind of lacking, weren't they? Like they're kind of lacking with temples in this world with a bunch of just ruins.
There was one that I found on the second island, and I was ecstatic. And you don't do anything in it.
Nope.
But it was ecstatic for you when I saw that. I mean,
it was cool that it was there.
Run through a big room.
Like that big upside down diamond triangle thing in the sky in Kronos. Yeah, you can climb it, but I want to see what's in it, Like, what does it do?
Yeah, no, that was my big problem with a lot of the set pieces here is you don't do anything with it. You just ride rails around it, maybe beat up something on top of it.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I don't think I like the model for Supersonic in Frontiers.
I'm kind of with you. His hands need to be tinier. He looks too soft for as hardcore as it goes.
He looks like that's the thing, is it the design doesn't quite match. He's a little too pudge, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like he's a little
I like him. He's shaped like a friend, but also I like that he's I like watching him like grabbing the giant sword of Night, which is like 3 times his size, and he's a little Scrimblow Scrunkly, and he's just grabbing that sword and smacking the crap.
I like how he doesn't grab the sword and his hands just hover below it.
Yep.
Oh, he's just that tough.
I do kind of wish he was just a little lankier. I think he's I'm with you on that one, Nick. Is like it doesn't fit like what's going on like in those fights. he just doesn't feel like he belongs there.
His
I don't
giant
know. I
fucking hands, man. Like his
think-
iconic look is like crossing his arms, and his each hand can cover his entire body. He looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just a problem with the Sonic models in general, though. I think, though, short of the movie one, because I really like the way Supersonic looked in the movie, this is my favorite of the Supersonic designs, because I just like that he's shaped like a friend.
He goes supersonic in the movie? I'm kidding.
Oh, crap. We almost had a repeat of the Nick situation.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't remember?
Oh,
when you
yeah.
By the
At the
You
theater.
told the story.
at the theater with the guy that's spoiling it for you.
gotcha. Yeah.
Do you need me to remind
Goddamn.
you of the time when you wore a black suit Spider-Man costume on Halloween as well?
I'm Mendy.
Weirdly enough,
All
I
right,
did also
you-
wear that to a movie. We haven't talked about like the best piece of Sonic media this year though, which was the prequel.
The
I didn't read
prequel
it.
comic was cool as fuck.
No,
It
not
didn't
the
come out
prequel
in
comic.
the UK.
The prequel art cartoon.
Oh, Divergence. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Like
What?
the Knuckles prequel.
Oh, that. Yeah, no, that really was like the
Yeah,
best fucking thing that came out of this year.
Shonen Knuckles just ripping through Starfall
That-
Island mechs.
That was
I've been
pretty
waiting for that animation for like my entire ever since I was a kid playing SA1 for the first time. That's all I wanted out of Knuckles, man.
cool. I think because we discussed it quite a bit like last week, we should just be quite quick on the Sonic Prime discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm pretty sure we all feel the same way about it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just kind of like I'm waiting to see how long it's gonna take for the rest of the episodes to come out so I can watch them and help out with the discussion, and then cancel my subscription because they're asking for a lot of money for that. But at least I got to watch Enter the Florpus again, so I got
Just
something good out of
pirate
it.
To be fair, like it's a victim.
Oh,
of
I'm not.
crime,
Well,
isn't
I'm
it?
not gonna.
We're
say
not.
I'm doing that
We're
on,
not
on the
promoting
air.
that on the air, man. Come on. Like-
You've heard of Sonic Prime. Now get ready for Sonic Crime. But also,
There were
they have.
some- I
No,
mean,
they got
You
the
just have to be a little
pirate
bit.
episode.
You just like, hey, you remember that last arc, that world they went to, Wayne? Maybe you should go visit that
Oh.
one yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, now who's advocating for
I'm
piracy?
just saying you could do a better job with that.
I'm-
Be clever.
I'm just saying you can do what you want because a pirate is free.
You are a pirate. Look, all I'm saying is, if you ask me my rating of Sonic Prime, I rate it R.
God damn it. This is my favorite Rouge that has ever existed in a Sonic thing.
It might be the best Rouge.
I mean, I said my piece about it. Like, I think I was a little bit more positive than some of you guys were. But as nitpicky as I was with Frontiers or with how unforgiving I was with Origins, I do feel like as big as they're going with the franchise this year, I really don't think there was any like home run out of the park, like stellar like piece of like holy shit, bit of Sonic. And yeah, unfortunately, I am including Frontiers in that. I think they were all better than average, like, and at the best, like really good, but not like holy shit, must play, must watch. This is
Maybe
incredible.
that's something worth.
Do you
don't
feel
know.
that way about
It-
Battle for
it's-
the Empire as
I
well?
think that's something worth discussing towards the end of the episode. Is did we have like what were our holy crap guys? This is amazing.
Because I had
event
one.
I had a few. But
Y'all
you
were
probably
there to
picked
see
them.
it.
But like, yeah, okay. So for you, it's Divergence.
Well, no, it's not that. Although that is high up there.
Why don't we do that a little bit at the end? Is like whether or not we
Yeah,
consider
yeah.
things like home runs, what we consider failures, what was the best part, etc.
I mean, are we there now? Because we already talked about
I-
Prime last week.
Are we done with
Yeah.
Prime then?
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
done
forget
with
Prime. Prime sucks. All right, so
It was all right. If you want more of our thoughts and you're not aware of it, go listen to last week's episode.
I don't think it sucks. I just think it's quite good. Like that's all I got. Like,
Did Sonic Speed
Sonic
Simulator
Boom.
come out this year?
oh, it did, but like,
I
Come
feel like that
on.
opens up a whole other discussion.
Let's
Let's
just
talk
Roblox
about-
that conversation.
let's talk about Game Freak or whatever it's called. Is it Game Freak?
Game Freak's Pokemon.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who makes Roblox. All right.
What?
I forget Sonic really is just kind of the beginning and end for video games for
The
you.
best thing to come out of Roblox this year was H Bomber Guy's oof video.
Also, that's not true, Wayne, because I've been playing Mario and the Rabbids Kingdom, but not Kingdom Battle, Sparks of Hope, and I've been loving it. Dustin, our good friend Dustin, who we love very much, introduced
know
me
Dustin.
to that. You don't know Dustin. Nick and I know Dustin. Dustin's great. He introduced me to Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I bought it in the Switch sale. I'm loving it. I love that game so far. All right.
I gotta play Klonoa again.
Is this your first time playing XCOM?
I don't know what that is. But
XCOM, give it to you.
speaking of Klonoa, though, my sister today just completed Lunatea's Veil. So yeah, that's
nice. Very
that's
nice.
something. That's a
I just gotta sit down and play that again. That was the big moment, was fucking Klonoa.
well, if you like Klonoa. Okay, so are we agreed that the home run of the year of Sonic then was Klonoa Fantasy
Hey,
Reverie?
I agree.
Actually,
Yes. Yeah.
what was that? Actually, Pup, what was that one game? What was that one game that I think you and Nick played it for a little bit? It was the pirate one.
Oh, Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, nuts will fit in your mouth.
Oh, for God's sake. We played that. No, okay, we played Sea of Thieves for like 10 minutes, and I wanted to do missions, and Nick's like, I'm just gonna go look for turtles. And then he's like, this game is boring. I'm like, yeah, we didn't do any missions, mate. You just look for turtles.
Yeah, a big, wide open world should be fun to explore, Pup. I don't know what to tell you, man.
It is fun to explore. You just looked for turtles. Anyways.
Got him.
There's no
Okay,
turtles.
so-
As I found out from someone who works on the game, there's no turtles in that game.
Why is there no
Aw.
turtles in? Okay, that I have to ask why.
God, that's fucking weird. We just know people that work on shit.
It's weird. It's wonderful, though.
Yeah.
Right, so I've
excuse
got
me.
like under an hour left that I can do. So I guess let's kind of do like what are our home runs? Are there any home runs? Nick, you've kind of given your input, but do you want to go again?
No, I don't think there's any home runs. I think they're all positive steps in the right direction that could lead to some real big bangers, but I do feel as hard as they went with overall everything. It was great. It was a good time overall, but I still expect better. And I think if I did have to put any home run, I would have to put it on the Knuckles cartoon, because that to me is like what our expectations should be in terms of like a Sonic show. I think that
Yeah.
this is a prestigious enough, it should be a prestigious enough franchise that we should be expecting that level of quality. For God's sakes,
And-
Castlevania hasn't had shit in years, and it has easily the greatest video game cartoon I've ever seen in my life. It is unbelievable, and I want that kind of level of quality from Sonic. And I know I'm being I'm being too expectation. I'm expecting too much. I'm a very demanding father, but that's just kind of where I am.
I don't
It's
think you're
good.
expecting
It could be
too
better.
much. It's been established we can have that already.
It's okay.
I honestly that prequel gave me hope for the Knuckles series. I'm more excited about that now after that. You all know what I want to see out
you
of that.
know he's gonna
Yeah.
twerk in that series. He's gonna twerk. He's gonna Fortnite dance. He's gonna.
It's gonna be
fart.
hot as shit.
It's gonna be great. Okay. Well, Nick, what do you think was the biggest failure of the year of Sonic then?
Origins, 100% Origins.
Okay. Alrighty. I guess as close to the order of the table as we can get, I'll go. Okay, so for me, the biggest failure was Origins. I'm in full agreement. Now, I'm gonna say it, like, Sonic Frontiers is a game I have my critiques of, I have my criticisms of, and I do want to see progress from it. But the fact that pretty much every single day since it came out, I've played the game. I've gone on there just to run around and stuff, just putter about. And the fact that I've beat the main story like 5 times now, it kind of says enough for me. Because I'm not just playing this to gather critiques or anything. I'm playing it for fun.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, like, it might not be the most high quality experience of them all, but it's certainly one of the most fun gaming experiences I've had. And for that, I really gotta hand it to Sonic Frontiers as a big home run victory. At least for me, it gave me what I wanted to see from Sonic. Even if I see it as more foundational than anything else, like, I have to say, it does broach my top 3 Sonic games. And for that, I gotta say it's a home run. Sonic Movie 2, I would also call it a home run. I've got my critiques of it, but again, I think what it does right, it does so very right. And then obviously, like, the Divergent Knuckles short, but I'm kind of not counting that because I'm not viewing it as like one of the pillars of the year, if you will. I'm viewing it as more like a supplementary. But if I were to include it, yeah, it's definitely up there. It is a fantastic little short. So yeah, that's me. Suris, take it away.
So if I had to label home runs for me, it's my home runs battle for the Empire with Eggman and and Starline. I know that like maybe bringing in comics is not fair here, but if I have to say the
Nah,
thing
fuck
I've
that,
enjoyed,
dude. It is. Yeah, no, that counts.
if I have to bring in the thing I've enjoyed the most without any criticism to throw, it was the confrontation between Eggman and Starline. I was 100% happy with how that played out. I'm good. Um, I love Origins. Not really. I don't. I lied. I love Frontiers. I love Frontiers. But I love 65% of Frontiers because the other 35% doesn't exist, and that's my big issue. If I had to label a failure though this year, like the biggest failure for me, it's either gonna be Origins or it's gonna be Colors.
Colors
Colors
didn't
was
come
this
out
year,
this
too.
year.
No,
No,
it wasn't this year.
Wasn't
No,
this
that
last
was,
year.
Okay.
that was yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking Colors came out around the same time.
Oh,
as
if
movie
colors,
two.
if colors is on the table, that's the worst part. Like,
No,
that's a
that was
failure.
September last year.
I don't know. I think
No, but
I
if
think
it were on the table,
Origins
it
is
would.
worse, if only because they
There's
Origins.
no excuse.
There's no fucking excuse for Origins.
Origins is more egregious, but colors is just a shameful
No,
thing.
Colors is fine, and that's coming from somebody who thinks that game is mediocre. I think
Ultimate?
it's okay.
You thought the release of
I-
Ultimate was fine?
But if you've played the original Wayne, you'll see how many things they managed to bugger up.
Well, you got to remember that I did play that game at launch, and I didn't run into a single fucking issue. So I'm only
No, but
talking
you
from my own
probably did.
personal
You didn't
experience.
realize it. Like, for example, there's
no,
no
that's
way.
just gaslighting.
No,
Wayne
no,
at
hear
that
me
point.
out. Hear me out. There is no way you didn't notice Sonic falling in a cradled position in Starlight Carnival Act 3. There's no way you didn't.
Do you
encounter
expect me to have even a fraction of a inkling of a fragment in my brain that would even care to attempt to know what fucking level you're talking about?
that? Okay, but it's kind of known among people that played Ultimate that there is one where his animation is completely botched as he enters into the level.
Yeah, and then
whether or
and it
not you
still wasn't-
notice that, it still happened. That's what I'm saying. Is
what,
that
what,
you
what
will
I'm
have-
saying though is that actually I'll save it for my worst of the year.
I mean that it basically if it did not, and we're not talking about Colors too terribly much, but if it didn't affect his experience of the game, it didn't affect his experience of the game. There's a lot of
It
issues
really
in
didn't.
Sonic Frontiers.
That's fair. Like that's a fair
There-
way of wording it. Like
There's a lot of issues in Sonic Frontiers that affected our experience of the game that didn't affect yours necessarily, Pup.
no, I know that. I'm just not. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna deny that I ran into them. Is what I'm. No worries. I'm being a dick. I'm sorry. Wait.
But yeah, no, my failure of the year would be Origins, and not because Origins was the worst performing thing out of every bit of the bunch, but just it was the thing that had the least excuse. The Sonic movie had the most excuse to suck, and somehow it managed to not do that. So I feel like a collection of Sega Genesis games should have been able to manage it as well, and yet,
Yeah.
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 So what are we thinking, Wallace? What are your home runs and your not home runs?
So biggest failure for me is in Sonic Origins when you're playing CD and Metal comes out of nowhere and starts choking Amy. She doesn't do the little squeak anymore. So fuck Origins.
They did remove all the little voice clips, didn't they? That was really weird.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because they
I love
wanna-
that little squeak. It's hilarious.
They wanted to commit to them being mute, but that doesn't make any sense.
It's just I mean they just George Lucas the fuck out of those games, and it offends me on a deeply personal level.
They could have at
Or-
least included it on classic mode. Like that's
Yeah.
the least they could do.
And like the worst
Origins
part is
was-
like it's not people that even worked on the original games. Just
Yeah.
fuck them. Fuck it. God, I hate Origins.
And Origins really was. It was just you took the games that hadn't been tarnished yet, and you fucked it up.
You dragged it down. I get angrier the more I talk about Origins.
Yeah,
really don't.
I was originally gonna
Nick.
do like, because I remember like in my like Sonic 3 and Knuckles video I was talking about. It's like, oh yeah, I'll eventually do a video about Sonic Origins, and I'm just like, I don't want to talk about that.
I didn't either. I just like I was thinking about it. I was like, it took me a couple months to even finish it because like I don't want to fucking finish this. Like I've just, god damn it. They have Ian Flynn on there. They have Tyson Hess on there. They've got people that worked on fucking Mania on there. How?
Yeah, I don't even think it's still installed on my Switch. I think I deleted it.
But it's
Sega's
it's like-
mismanagement of that project cannot be understated.
no.
It was
Yeah.
because of that project that now IGN has every right to say once again, was Sonic ever good?
That was something that happened this year. They took that back. Brian Altano took that back.
Yeah,
We
that's
talked
something that
about
happened
that
this month.
last week, I think.
I think it was just used just quickly like, all right, Sonic fans, calm down, and then the entirety of Sonic Twitter's like validation.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I think for hits though, okay, so when I was a kid, I remember playing Kingdom Hearts 2 and I got to the end boss and it was the coolest shit I'd ever seen in my life. And that was when I started taking advantage of the fact that you could manipulate, multiple save files. So if you wanted to go back and re-experience something, you could, just load up a save file right before that fight and you could do that fight again. Back before a lot of games were doing, boss rush modes and everything like that. I haven't done that in a very, very long time, but I did that for the fucking Wyvern fight. Like, holy shit. That was my holy fuck moment. I can't get over how excited I was by the music, the tone. Like, that was, again, it was so much about what I loved about the final boss for Three Knuckles. It was like, that wasn't just a fight, that was a fucking chase.
Well, not only that, like literally, it is that fight. Missiles and everything. It's that same fight.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, the music alone, it's just like that song, Breakthrough It All is a song of pursuit and just like tenacity, and you're just coming after this guy and he's running from you and you're just like above this fucking map that you just explored, and when the chorus kicks in the later portion of the fight and you just hear that drop and you're just like soaring downwards towards this creature.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've had a moment like that.
Yeah,
That
dude.
was a hit. That was a home run.
I'm right there with you. I feel like it's almost kind of sacrilege to not mention the bosses in my bit when I was saying how Frontiers is like a home run for the year. But like, yeah, no, I remember after I'd completed the Wyvern fight, I was like, okay, fine, maybe you are the best Sonic game. And then I had Chaos Island and Pinball. I was like, maybe you're not. And then Night comes out. Like, no, maybe you are. It's a real experience, I tell you what.
I mean, yeah. Like I was. I know I sounded very dismissive, but like the supersonic fights, they do need a little bit work here and there. But holy shit, they did everything everybody ever wanted for supersonic throughout that game, and they're going to utilize that in the future.
If you have not already seen, I forget who the YouTuber is that did them, but there's a YouTuber who's been doing fully synced versions of those fights, where they start the fight.
Up.
No, they don't. They do not sync the music up.
Oh, okay.
They do the fight in such a way that the track never loads the next bit. It just naturally bleeds into it the way that it would if you were just listening to the song.
But the
Like,
music
they-
is synced up. That's what I
No,
said.
that. Well, yes, but there's a difference between syncing the music up in like Adobe After Effects and syncing the music up by
Oh yeah, no, that's not what I meant. Like,
by deliberately timing when you take the boss into different phases.
imagine the
um,
outtakes for that video. There must have been thousands.
They
Yeah.
actually show some of the outtakes at the end of each one, and you can see like there's one where in Find Your Flame where they get everything right and they just like their controller dies. And you can see when they like they get they plug the controller up and they keep trying, and it just you hear the reload and just the scream. Like, God damn it.
Justified.
Amazing.
But those, so I watched all of those like perfectly synced up versions of the fights on stream, and those fights feel amazing when you're playing them, and it's even way cooler watching somebody just go through and sync everything up perfectly, and you're like, no, here we go. We're gonna do the fight the way the developers intended, basically. These are the emotions you should be feeling. Feel them correctly.
Yeah, it was it was fucking cool, man. And I'm just like, I think I did have because I've gone back to refight him like a couple of times, and I had like one match against him where it was dark out, but it was like turning to sunrise as I was beating his ass, and it was the coolest shit in the world, dude.
Yeah.
So, before we get on to super chats, is there anything else you want to add, kind of, for the home runs, Wallace?
I don't think so. I mean, again, I did really like the movie. I'm happy with what the comics have been doing. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
You okay, there, buddy?
Yeah. I'm good. But yeah. Sonic Frontiers. I was just really happy with, and I think the only other thing that's a contender for me is that Knuckles prequel animation. That shit went hard.
Hell,
Damn right it did.
yeah. Dang, it did. Dang old Knuckles animation. No, dang. All right, then. So, shall we move on to the super chats? And, like, I guess the quickfire stuff can wait for another episode.
I mean, we're kind of merging it in with every single topic, just so we didn't have to kind of bounce back.
Well, then, here's a question. Shall we place a bet? Will Sonic Origins ever get another patch?
No,
No,
No, it
no,
won't.
that one's dead.
no, the folks that worked on 3 and Knuckles specifically, there's no way in hell they're working with Sega ever again. You're not going to see any improvements for that. It's just not happening. Like Blue Sphere
Mania
got something,
dreams
and that was
over.
it. It's on hold for now. Whether or not they're going to reutilize classic Sonic, make no mistake about it, or at the very least 2D. How good it is,
Can you imagine?
we'll see.
Can you imagine if we get like the next game in like the classic Sonic stuff and it's literally the Forces engine?
Jesus Christ. I can see it. I can see it.
It could happen.
Sonic Frontiers 2, but it's just the 2D sections in cyberspace controls.
Oh
Only
god.
that.
Stop. All right.
'Cause
So
I've been there. I have seen it, and I really want to stop believing.
well, that is the best track though. Man, Find Your Flame is just insane. All right. Anyways, the Sonic fan 1661 sends $5. Hey all, various illnesses are going around. Oh, I can feel that. Please stay safe and wash your hands, wear masks, etc. Flu is especially bad this time around. Trust me. Yep, I've already had the flu.
I mean, yeah. How bad did we have, like, just these last few months, Pup? Just Jesus.
It's not been easy. It's
No.
not been an easy ride.
No. We've had it rough, and we definitely know. I'm actually getting a booster shot later today, just in terms of getting ready for MagFest. So, yeah, I'm gonna be wearing a mask. I'm not taking any chances because after
Yeah,
our
me
last
too.
show,
When I'm
I got messed
at
up.
100%. When I'm at MagFest, I will be masking up, man. Like, jeez.
Anyway, way past
You're
school
up.
kid with $1.99. Happy early New Year, boys. I've been a happy fan. Well, thanks, way past cool kid. Always a pleasure having you around, and thank you for your generosity.
I'm happy to hear it as well. Hell yeah. Serious.
Daza S, thank you very much for your 10, whatever those are. This year has been
It
the
sounds-
year of Sonic. I don't care. This year has been the year of Sonic with the film, Origins, Frontiers, and a new animated show. I hope Sega capitalize on the renewed interest and push further in the coming years. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope so too. I hope Sega has made enough new fans for Sonic that
Well.
it justifies putting actual money into this franchise.
Izuka has said that he wants to maintain that momentum going forward.
Then maybe he should put some momentum in the game.
So you do know that word, Mr. Izuka-san.
Well, all right. So we got that Jordo with 1069. Oh man, I totally forgot to draw something for Serge's first birthday last month. Welp.
It's not too late.
I'm
Never too late.
I'm always excited. I will always give the comics this much. Like, man, thank goodness we've got something in this franchise bringing some new, fresh ideas in here.
You might say that over the past few years, there's been a surge in creativity. Someone please read.
I'd say
I'm up
the
for
best
you.
new characters were definitely from the comics. I feel anyway.
I like Sage.
I
fine.
really
She's-
liked Rachel. Rachel was great.
God damn you!
Oh, wait, wait, what?
All right, Pup, it's your
So-
turn.
Astonishing Red. Yeah, sends a $10. Says, I mostly enjoy the IDW stuff. I just think it looks silly when the characters scrutinize Sonic for not killing Eggman. That's just heavy moral stuff, more suitable for characters like Batman and Spider-Man. To a small extent, I half agree. I would say, in regards to, like, Sonic, I feel like it's quite cool that, like, Sonic is this Mickey Mouse looking character that can really go deep into kind of certain themes and stuff, but at the same time, yeah, I think the no-kill policy isn't something that I really want to see that touched upon. I don't think Sonic is the guy to ever kill someone, and I don't really want to see him get, flummoxed for it, if that's for lack of a better word.
I am actually okay with them exploring that with Sonic, honestly. Like my view on that is very much if you're gonna have an Eggman that does a Metal Virus arc, then you're fine having a Sonic that gets criticized for enabling that.
Yeah.
To an extent, I agree.
I honestly think they opened a can of worms they weren't ready for by addressing that at all.
Yeah, it's also
and my
true.
only issue with it is that there's never been a satisfactory answer, and there
that's
never
the
will
thing,
be.
is you're always going to be able to say that Sonic's kind of a crap hero as soon as you bring up that conversation.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, like, if you're gonna say like that, it's not fitting for Batman or Spider-Man either, to some extent, because yeah, like, they can tell more mature stories, but like, that's not how those books started either. They were always goofy superhero fun things, but when you bring in
I
these more
think the
realistic
thing-
elements, you can't give them a proper answer because you can't have Batman and Spider-Man killing. It's the same for Sonic. Like, every time you bring up that conversation in a long-running franchise that literally is not going to end, that's always going to be an issue.
The thing with Batman and Spider-Man is they're not little scrunkly scrimblos, so I'm kind of okay, with criticizing them.
I don't think the aesthetic is even part of the argument for me.
Oh, I'm not talking aesthetic, I'm just talking about the fact that they're people.
I think some of the aesthetic is, I think Sonic is still a little bit more kid-focused than even Batman and Spider-Man are. So that is an aspect for me, because I do think people are asking a little bit too much in terms of, like, as far as like getting real dark with Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. But
Yeah, with Sonic, I'm like, oh, you poor guy, didn't want to kill the Eggman. That's okay. Whereas with Batman, I'm like, what are you doing? You know?
I mean,
yeah,
What about movie Sonic? He murked that asshole. He didn't give a shit.
He's a murderer. Like, he's guilty
Yeah.
of several counts.
Yeah,
of
no.
manslaughter.
He acted with intent to kill. Like
Oh, yeah,
that's what that
knew
was.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's a straight up cold blooded killer.
just tipped over a robot. Didn't, spin dash through his chest or nothing. It's fine. But yeah.
I mean, he didn't go far enough.
I think the overall point they were trying to make with Sonic was like, he's not perfect, and there are going to be flaws with this particular mindset, and there's
But
not
he's
going to
not
be
a Gary Stu.
I mean, like, I think with a character that has to be a Gary Stu, I think that's a creative workaround for saying, like, there are flaws with this mindset, with this personality
I think it was a direct response. I feel like it's like, oh, your character's a Gary Stu. All right, we'll make it so that his Gary Stu-ness is his weakness.
Yeah, I think the point is there isn't a perfect solution. They're not going to wrap it up perfectly. They can't.
You know what? I like it. I'm fine with it. I don't care anymore.
But I am tired of talking about it like I am with the comics, so let's keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna touch it. We've already done an episode on Should Sonic Kill?
Yeah,
so
we have.
Let's move along to Nick. You're
yeah.
up with Chris Bennett. Do you want to put Burger next to it?
No, I'm looking at it. Thank you.
Burger.
Oh my god. I love that every time I say whether or not I need it, he still puts a burger on there.
Yeah, it's just a burger. You're hungry?
Chris, that reminds me, in Shenmue, I didn't realize this, pup, but like there's a shop area, and there's two shops next to each other. One of them says Bob's Pizzeria, and right next to it,
Yeah, no, you showed me this.
Yeah.
Linda's
it just says Linda. Like, when you walk in the store, like, it gives you a title, and
knew.
it just says Linda.
someone that worked on Bob's Burgers must have been in that area or something,
It's just
because
so good.
It lines up too well.
It's so damn funny. All right, it'll be nice to have Sonic Frontiers art style take homage to Sonic Heroes level art style. Just imagine Sonic running through Hang Castle. That would be sick.
I've said it in the past, I would be game for them to remake previous games in the open world format, open zone, sorry everybody, open zone format, especially Sonic Colors. which is a game I've frankly had enough of. But like, if you're gonna put it in open zone, hell yeah, let's see that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean I still think Sonic Colors is one of the strongest representations of really creative art direction and level design in terms of Sonic environments.
But no,
Oh my god.
that's my purse.
I don't know you.
That's my Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh god.
Give it back.
Give it. All right, Cirrus, you're up.
From Dazzle Fizzle, thank you for the
need
$5. I need you to stop.
Burger.
I hope that for the next game they start going more towards making it like a classic game in 3D, but this might be unrealistic. We already had that. That was Sonic Heroes. I wouldn't mind that again, but
I think a more
I
open
mean, it
environment.
depends. It depends what they
Yeah.
mean by making it more like a classic game, and I think what they might be referring to here is momentum. But yeah, I'd be game for a little elements of classic to creep in a little bit. I just don't want it to be like, like
It's got to be the right things, right? It can't be just
Yeah, 'cause
tired
the
old
thing
fucking
is-
assets.
I think all too often Sega see stuff like this and are like, oh, okay, we'll add Green Hill in there for you then. And it's like, no, 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 no. Sega, you know what was a staple of the classic games? New levels.
Creative levels that are fun and exciting to explore for the first time, or just feeling fun, just a fun area to explore.
Yeah, like Kronos Island or Errors Island. I liked them. I don't care.
I think they can. I think they can. We've been saying it the entire episode. It's a step in the right direction. Let's hope they learn the right lessons, because it could go either way with this fucking company.
Keep on stepping. Wallace, you're up.
Yeah.
With Mr. Do you need a burger?
Is it Mr. Terry Chaos with 2 pounds?
Burger.
Okay. All right. Well, we got Mr. Terry Chaos with 2 pound towns.
Oh my god!
Put Sonic in a house like Tinykin. Done. I don't know what that is.
Tinykin's a new little indie game. It's on Game Pass. Think of it like Pikmin, but in a house, and it's got like the 2D sprites in a 3D world kind of a situation. They're not
okay.
sprites, but
So-
they're like fully out animated. It's gorgeous, and I've been wanting to play.
I guess like a little more chibi robo.
So like Klonoa.
it. No, like Pikmin.
Like none of it. None of
Okay.
it.
Like gameplay is a little bit more Pikmin with a
Isn't
little
that the
bit
name
of
of your
platforming.
tortoise? Turtle. You got a turtle called Pikmin.
No, Pippin, like Lord of the Rings. Pippin.
Pikmin.
Oh my
All right,
God.
so Stevie D and Blu-ray sends $10 and says, I really hope that Frontiers DLC playable characters aren't A, reskinned Sonics, B, playable for the tiniest of secluded gameplay sections, similar to the Amigo characters in 06. I kind of share that sentiment, but at the same time, I'm just happy to see additional playable characters at this point, And that's kind of a testament to how starved I am, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I'm just kind of happy to see this little moment of confidence in Sega,
Yeah.
For a change.
We'll be talking more about our predictions for the DLC as 2003 roll. Oh God, I'm so old. 2023 rolls in. So we'll save some more of those thoughts and predictions for there. But for now, OzJam H with $10. Thank you.
You need a Clementine?
No,
Clementine?
I literally said his name right before you
So you can
asked.
find it. Clementine?
A new movie, questionable re-release, new game /start, and the comics going strong. What better way to end this year with Sonic and starting the new one is finally reading the Archie run. Oh boy. Yep, that's what I'm doing starting next month, so.
To be honest, I quite enjoyed the Knuckles special that I had to edit the video for
Yeah,
you.
well, I think specifically for you, I think you're gonna take more to the corny, goofy, the humor of early Archie.
I'm gonna like Ken Penders, aren't I? I'm gonna come away from this going, man, Penders had a point.
No, I think
I mean,
I think-
Knowing
for
you,
us-
maybe.
He bought us the Vulture from Spider-Man 4 on Twitter. Can I just reinstate
That is
that?
crazy, by the way. That is absolutely nuts. Like, of
It's the
all
new
things that
Defenders
happened,
news.
like, of the craziest Sonic things to happen last year, it was Ken fucking Penders showing us fucking Spider-Man 4 Vulture.
I know I'm gonna come away from this going, oh, Penders' work was a different kind of art the community wasn't ready for. I'm gonna be one of those guys.
I don't think.
I've
I don't
heard you.
think so.
I've heard you talk about Batman v Superman, so I believe it.
Do not
Yeah,
compare
God,
Snyder
yeah,
to
okay.
Penders.
I mean-
do not compare Snyder
mean-
to Penders. How dare you?
I mean,
You're all dated. No one hates that movie anymore. Everyone likes it now.
I
Anyway.
mean, Wayne has a. He's got a point, actually. Now that that you mentioned that.
Yes, and you like The Last Jedi, so we're even. Anyways,
I thought it was okay, right?
I like The Last Jedi.
Glass
Okay.
Onion, though, like Ryan Johnson's.
I want to see it. I wanna see
Whodunits.
it.
His whodunits are great.
Oh yeah, I could certainly see the vision in it. Don't get me wrong.
Like-
well, anyways, who's okay?
It's
Cirrus.
me. It's me with Mr. SP. Thank you for the $12.30. This was truly the year of Sonic, but it was also a great year for the Ninja Turtles. If Jurassic World 3 didn't suck, it might have been the greatest year for 90s nostalgic kids.
Oh no, buddy,
Yeah.
that's 2023. That's going to be the year of the Turtles. Like Rise had a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but it was just like it was nice that they allowed them to kind of wrap things up. It's not the year of the Turtles. They're getting a new movie. It's going to blow your tits off. It's going to be great. I'm excited.
How nicely worded.
Wayne,
Wayne,
cowabunga, baby.
Wayne,
All right, we
you're up.
got Mr. Krabs with $4.99. You forgot the most important Sonic game. Rachel adventure with her golf cart as her transportation in the game. Okay, I understand the Rachel reference earlier. I completely forgot what that character's name was.
You know, there's a DLC I'd kind of be willing to accept.
You were
is a Sonic...
happier at one point.
Imagine a Sonic Frontiers DLC though that adds little golf holes to all of the Starfall Islands, and you have to putt golf in them. They got a little flag, but you could also roam around in a golf cart. That would be
Wait,
kind of cool, I think.
Actually, have they done pinball with Sonic, but never golf? No, they have done. Have they done golf?
I don't
They
think they've ever
golf?
done
When?
because they.
Yeah,
because
they
know
have.
that it's
They
tennis.
have. They
They
have.
did tennis, yeah.
Sonic
They
Labyrinth.
did tennis, but
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, actually, I mean, you know what?
No, I want to see that. I
Because
want to
Kirby's.
see.
Yeah,
I want to see
no,
his little
that's-
pink
that's
ass
right.
getting smacked by a golf club. and he
Kirby's
goes
Dream
off and
Course
he-
does go fucking hard. Anyway.
All right, so is it me you're looking for? Am I up? All right.
No. Yeah.
Ozjam.
It's me. It's me.
No.
not you,
No,
Wayne,
it's
Red.
it's Pup.
Pup.
No, I'm being a dick.
Learn your fucking place.
Oh, you are one to talk.
Stay in your lane,
As
cat
the-
tits.
Ozjam H sends $5. Still, favorite moments were the Titans fights, but the second movie was the biggest for me in terms of excitement. Have a happy new year and drink your gamer juice. We certainly will, Ozjam H. And I'm glad you enjoyed the movie. And the Titan fights. I fully agree.
I have been very nitpicky with everything we've talked about today, but make no mistake, like we had some amazing fucking moments, and I'm overall more happy than not. I'm just a little bit more harsh with Origins because it's not going to be the last time we see these games, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be very critical when it comes to something as important as Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But overall, yeah, like it's a solid package. Everything we got this year was solid. It was real good, and that's not something we can say every year for Sonic the Hedgehog.
The next collection, you'll get even less games.
Oh my god. I'm gonna real quick here. We're cutting off super chats, guys, but Mike1911, thank you. We're getting more Lego Sonic sets. That is true. They're going to go hard next year. We had that recently.
Oh, what are we getting? I want to
We
get
don't know.
Marble next.
We don't know.
They should give each level from Sonic 1. We've already had Green Hill, do Marble. And yes, full disclosure, I'm fine with seeing it as a Lego set, okay? Before anyone says anything.
Hypocrite.
OzJamH, $2. Learn your place service.
You really do learn your place, service. As
And that's
the
right here
resident-
next to me, baby boy. I love you so much.
As the closest thing we have to a woman on our show.
Oh my
your-
god.
Know your limits.
Oh
Oh my god. Hey, Pup, you know how you wanted a glass level? Maybe you should go get thrown through a glass ceiling.
And
All right, there
with
it is.
and with that, sexism. That's how we're going to end the year with Sunset City.
Thanks,
Guys,
Pop.
thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Boys, what are y'all working on? Pup.
Well, I don't know, but what I have got out recently is for the Sonic fans among you all, which is all of you. We've got a retrospective on Sonic Unleashed, why it is one of my favorite Sonic games, and that's the first in a series on my favorite Sonic games. So be sure to check that out. But here's what I really want you guys to watch, okay? I know you've all got one-track minds. I know you've all got attention disorders, which mean that the only thing you'll ever look at is a blue hedgehog. But guys, I made a festive Klonoa short. It's 2 parts. If you guys had checked that out, it would mean the world to me. The world. Because it's a labor of love for that little Scrimblow who... I'm so glad I met Klonoa this year. I'm so glad. I love that guy. So, yeah.
Fucking told you.
Shut up, Wayne. I played it on a mobile phone the first time. I was like, guys, this game sucks.
That was a frustrating evening.
I love that it wasn't even the mobile version, which does exist.
It does?
Somewhere in Japan. It's lost
wait,
media.
Yeah, no, I've heard about that.
Lost
Yeah,
playing it on
I
an
heard
emulator.
about it. I heard about it in Nick's fucking video.
I was playing it on an emulator using the phone touch controls. Like, guys,
So good.
this game is terrible. I don't know what you see in this. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that in the first place.
It's fine. It's funny to look back on, but yeah, Cirrus, what about you? What are you working on?
I need to actually sit down with Pup and hand him my Frontiers audio. That's
What are you doing?
what needs to
Why
happen.
would you do that? I don't want that. What are you doing?
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't want money, that's fine. I don't want to give you money.
Please pay me. Just I don't want to
Hey.
edit. Just please pay me anyway.
Just pay you.
Oh my fucking
Don't
god.
edit.
Yeah,
Alright.
you know, my friendship is worth something. It's worth money.
Oh my god.
Eh.
All right. So, anything else in the works, or are we still waiting on that Frontiers video like they are for me?
I mean, the same thing with the Shadow video. The script is done, the voicing is done for the most part. 80% done on the artwork, and then that will be once all those are together, then that gets handed over to Pup, and then he does his magic on it.
Fair
And
enough.
the money also gets handed over to us.
I mean, yes, the hey, look, it's not always about the money, Pup.
Oh, it is definitely in this case about the money.
It's about the Mets.
It's
Yeah,
about
go
the
Mets.
Wayne,
Yeah.
what are you doing, buddy?
What's up, cutie? Oh, I'm working on the Digimon World video will be out eventually. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I needed to take a break from that project like over the holiday season just because how crazy it's been.
Yeah.
Once I get back from MagFest though, I should be ready to roll on that. But that should hopefully be out within the next 2 months. That said, I do also have, for any of my Patreon supporters, I do have some demo or some blooper reels that have been needing to have come out for a while. They date all the way back to my Sonic 3 and Knuckles video, and
Demo reel coming out?
I finally got those put together, and I'm going to be releasing the Sonic 3 Knuckles blooper reel today, exclusively
Demo
for Patreon
reel?
supporters.
You've got Doug Walker's demo reel.
No. I did blooper reels for my Sonic 3 Knuckles video exclusively for Patreon supporters later today, and then in the coming weeks, I will release the others.
Demo reel.
Very cool. I decided I'm going to end the new year my way, not to end the new year, but end this year my way. I'm editing Ninja Turtles speed reading, essentially. It's a new show I'm calling Comic Bunga, and we're talking about the very first Ninja Turtle issue ever because it is insane. So that's going to be up for patrons a little bit later today once I'm done editing, and that'll be out for everybody else tomorrow on New Year's Eve. I would really, really be thankful if you guys check that out. Your boy just needed a break from Sonic content, and I did recently release a Sega Christmas video that was a blast to make, and I still somehow managed to miss out on like a ton of stuff. So,
Christmas blast?
but if you guys could give that some love and, help the algorithm know, hey, we can get a little bit more creative, I'd appreciate it because I would love to do more stuff like that down the road. But yeah, that's all of us accounted for. And guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us this year on Sunset City, and we will see you in 2023.
It's about the money.